Always live and always wild. Hi everyone, thank you for joining us again for this beautiful exploration of the bush together. It's me, Michelle, and you're watching the Africam Show. And we're going to look at all our different cams. And to start off, we have, yay, I'm so excited for this. It's our lapwing chick. So much of investment has gone into this chick. It's been 3 clutches, and we finally have, something to show for it. This is amazing. So glad to see this little one. And look how well it's moving about. Amazing. It's tucked under either mom or dad at the moment. Always a good place for protection. It takes them a while to kind of figure out how to use all of the new parts that are now able to be used. Because remember, when they're in their egg, though they can't move about, the structures in their legs and all of that still need to be stretched and used to get used to the actual movements and the environment. So sometimes you might see they're quite clumsy and they fall over, but luckily mom and dad are quite close by, so they can tuck themselves underneath. I got very excited there because it was moving around, and I'm glad that we spent time talking about it while it was out. Now I can tell you, remember that to send us your questions and your comments. I'll gladly answer as best as I can, and I love having these discussions with you guys. It seems that it's pretty gloomy, pretty much on all the cams, and I really like this weather because it means that there's bits of water collecting in all sorts of places. So the downside to this, or once we enter the rainy season in the bush, when it's the dry season, we know there's specific water points, and we know that animals have to come down to those points. So you can be pretty certain that if you sit at a water hole for long enough, that something's going to come down. But in the wet season, there's bits of water all over the place. Water is filling up vehicle tracks, is filling up where elephants have stood. So there's a lot more areas for animals to be dispersed. So it might not seem like it's great for viewing, but it's so wonderful for the animals. And the other thing about this, okay, it's not raining right now, but being overcast, it means that it's more likely that there will be predator activity because the sun is not beating down. So overcast days in the bush are great days. You can see some really awesome action at any time of the day. And I think we started off with some really great action from our little chick. I wish I could tell you how proud I am of this chick's resilience to make it through. I know it didn't have much to do with the chick, but a lot to do with the parents and how much effort, biological effort, goes into producing several clutches and not seeing any fruits of that effort. And now finally we have a chick, so this is wonderful. Absolutely lovely. We have Zygote. Hi, Zygote. You say hello, Trishala. Oh, you even said Naidu. Hello, Trishala Naidu. Hello, Zygote. Zygote. I don't know your surname, Zygote. But I suppose I will call you Zygote blastocyst, since I think they would be used together at some point, or at least they're in the same family. You can't even see the little legs. And that's how well they fit in to the parents or under the wing of the parent. Sometimes if you're at this perfect angle, you'll be able to see not only the legs, but kind of the disruption in the feathers of the adult, and a little beak poking through, or sometimes a little head, because that head is really large, and it kind of has to grow into its head. I mean, I've seen them, they're top heavy, little chicks. In fact, not just the lapwing chicks, or not just the blacksmith lapwing chicks, but um, lapwing and plover chicks in general. So these top-heavy birds, usually water birds or birds that you find near the water, they're so top-heavy, and the chicks have the majority of their bulk up there, and they're not used to it. So you just kind of see them keel over every now and then. So cute. Oh, lovely. Oh, we've got. Oh, wow. Is this our first live kill, everybody? This is insane. So this heron, my goodness, has got itself a frog. Oh, let's just take this in. This kind of looks a little bit like water torture. It's dunking the frog in and then picking it up again. Oh, wow. I've got a whole lot of hellos coming through, and we'll say hi to everyone in a moment. But I just want you to take this in. This is amazing. So this gray heron has caught a frog. I can't tell what frog it is, unfortunately. And this is exactly what we will see. The the heron will try to, at least, it's not exactly going to break the bones of the frog. Oh no, the frog is holding onto the beak. Oh gosh, I think it's going to start banging it on the ground. Oh gosh, this feels so tense. It's still very much alive. So what the heron wants to do is essentially injure the frog enough so that it's not wiggling about once it gobbles it down, which makes absolute sense, right? But might have better luck hitting it on the ground than into the water. Well, we're gonna watch this play out. We really are. Okay, so we've got Bob from Kalamazoo who says hi, Trishala. Hi, Bob. Rolling Trouble says hi from Washington. John says good afternoon, Trishala, from a sunny Florida. I'm so glad to have you all on board because this is an amazing sighting. Oh, shame. Andy, your comment is so apt. You said the frogs at RP are not enjoying the weather. Hello, everyone. Yes, certainly not. Amberco, you say happy Tuesday and thank you for the gift of your gift of time and knowledge. Our pleasure. Absolute pleasure. RP is Rosie's pan, if you're wondering, because I was wondering too, but luckily the wonderful Kirsten enlightened me. I'm too enthralled. Hi, Nikita. Thank you for joining us. You'd like to know, will they swallow them whole? Yep. Oh, look at this frog. This frog is holding on. Oh, Nikita, yeah, they will. They will swallow it whole. Remember that um, birds generally don't have teeth. I say that because essentially what a beak is a modified jaw, mandible. So there are kind of vestigial parts that could resemble teeth, and some birds, like say a penguin, do have little serrations along the beak that help them to move prey into their mouths, but they don't have the ability to break prey up. So what it can do is hit it against something that'll help maybe break up the bones to make for easy swallowing, but it will swallow it whole. Oh, and Nikita, I've seen times where a bird has swallowed whatever prey item it was and it continues to wriggle in its throat, and you can see it if they haven't done a thorough job of whacking it. But what it will do is it'll we can tell it's not going to swallow it just yet because of the position of the frog. So what it's going to do is going to position it in head first before it swallows, because that's going to make for easiest swallowing. But I can see that the frog is starting to lose fight now. It may, oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Oh my goodness. Was that not intense, everybody? Wow. Um, wow, that's all I can say. You're very right, Zygote. Live kill on a live show. That was amazing. Oh, it's just cleaning its beak now. Yes, I'm sure you have a whole lot of secretions around your beak, Mr. Heron. That was unbelievable. I'm so glad to share that with you all. We saw some really interesting behavior. You know, when we think about kills, it's a bittersweet thing because obviously an animal is losing its life, but another animal is being fed and it's essentially being given life by being able to feed. Um, and any kill, regardless of whether it's a leopard with a nyala or whether it's a heron with a frog, it's amazing to watch that fight because that frog tried so hard, but the heron also tried very hard, and it's easy to let a frog slip. So easy. And both put in a huge amount of effort for essentially their ability to survive, to make sure that they have either their life or something to eat to sustain their lives. Amazing. Okay, we have Gemma who says, greetings all from a sunny New Jersey. Look forward to another informative show. Hi, Gemma. Thank you so much. I think, Gemma, we kind of like, wow, great start to the show. And a lot to learn, a lot to watch. The best times for learning comes not from spewing facts, but from watching. And that was wonderful. We saw the way that the heron had manipulated the frog, tried to bash it around, trying to get it limp, and then position it in a way that's head first for easiest swallowing. Katie Bittner, you say, can't they just crush them with the beak? So they can't just crush it with the beak, unfortunately. Hello, bushbucky. Because their beaks are not that strong. Because it's a modified jaw, the muscles that are normally associated with the jaw that will keep or produce force, those muscles don't really exist to create that kind of strength anymore. So it's as if the whole bony structure becomes the beak, the whole bony structure of the jaw. So they can't create a lot of force for biting and chewing. So you can't just crush it with the beak. Ooh, there we go. And now we have a bushbuck to just kind of calm things down. Carol says, hello from Ohio. Is this live or is this recorded from the past? It is 100% live, even though I'm sure that the last sighting may appear or may make you think that it's recorded, because that was so amazing. But it is in fact live. Oh, that's awesome. And now we have a beautiful bushbuck who's just having a bit of a sniff around Oliphant's River. Bushbuck are normally found in these kinds of areas. So you're not going to see them in open plains and grassland. They're always going to be in these riverine areas, in thickets. And this is a really beautiful male. Really, really nice. You can see that he's got his horns that are quite large. Bushbuck generally don't have very big horns. And you can see the slight twist in them. And you can also see this kind of collar, which you'll see with the more mature. There we go. More mature males. So bushbuck and nyala often get mixed up. And I assure you that when you see them, especially if you see them or you're lucky enough to see them together, you'll be able to tell the difference very easily and you won't forget it. But now if we're just looking at this bushbuck on its own and you think, oh, but how does Trish know that it's a bushbuck? And a lot of you already do know, but let's just go over it because it is important. So bushbuck are smaller than nyala, and you can see that the coat is a little bit, it's more of like a dirty brown, especially with this male, and they don't have the socks that we see with nyala. So nyala have what we call socks, so imagine that they're wearing long socks, and those long socks are really kind of solid, bright, what's the right word? Fawn type of color. And bushbuck females are chestnut, so that's more of a deep, not a dark brown, but rather slightly orange brown. And the females obviously have the vertical white stripes in it. Whereas you don't see that with bushbuck, but you do see the face of the bushbuck, which might be something that's actually confusing because nyala also have those spots. So remember, it's the color. This color is quite, I was going to say messy, but I wouldn't like to call it messy. But it doesn't look very solid, and they don't have the stops. Whereas Nyala have a solid color. The males have that solid dark brown coat, and they have a shaggy mane or beard that run from the bottom of their jaw down their throats. And then the females are that rich chestnut color with those vertical white stripes. Hi Nikita, you want to know that you say that there's two bushbucks, or two male bushbucks that are always here. Do they hold territories? So they do, but they're going to be small. So you don't usually see bushbuck with in a herd. They're not really herd animals, but you will see them in small groups, especially in areas where they're feeding together. But remember also that two males may, if one is not particularly dominant, or if one is quite obviously subordinate, then they can coexist. It's a pleasure to watch bushbuck because they are a fairly common antelope, but in many of the places that I've guided, or many of the different traverses, you don't see them very often. But we did have a resident bushbuck at one of our camps, so we got to spend some time with them. Look at those ears moving independently, back and forth, always making sure that it's safe. That was quite funny. It looked as if it was trying to figure out which way to go, but luckily its nose helped it out there. I love this area. So this is Tao. Oh, what's that swimming in there? Oh, it's a coot. I, I thought it was much further away than expected, but I thought there might be some crocodiles around. They might still be around. You just have to have a keen eye. With this kind of soil, so it's really mineral rich soil, which is why it's this gray, sometimes white kind of color. Crocodiles can be really difficult to spot. So there might be one even in sight, but we can't tell. It's getting really muddy in this area at the moment. In fact, this is where, I mean, lots and lots of elephants hang out here, and when it's muddy like this, they love it because they can really get coated with that mud. Oh, there we go. Two crocs down here deciding not to blend in with the soil, or the sand rather. Oh, but to have a picnic in the grass. Look at this. Oh, this is amazing. I love seeing crocs out of water. The only thing better than seeing a croc out of water, or simply a croc out of water, is to see them moving around out of water, because it just looks so intimidating, but in a different way, because it looks slow, but it also looks, prehistoric in a way. I was reluctant to use that word because it's not exactly true. Everything that we see around us, all the animals, all the plants that we see around us, though they may be from old lineages, as in they have ancestors that, for example, with crocodiles, they share ancestors with dinosaurs. But this crocodile that we see right now is the product of the same amount of evolutionary time and change as anything else that exists right now. It's just that the extent of that change might be different. But crocodiles are actually, or crocodilia, if we can say, has only existed for about 80 million years. I say only, it's a long, long time, but sometimes it's quoted as much longer than that. But it's important to realize that as ancient as they look, they are not, say, 150 million years ago, a million years old, only 80. And that's the group Crocodilia, not the Nile crocodile specifically. Anyway, that was just my tangent because living fossil thing, sometimes I get a bee in my bonnet about it. But this is an excellent view of this armored skin of the crocodile. So you can see these little spikes. In fact, that's what kind of gives it the prehistoric look, is these protrusions off of their skin. Now these are called osteoderms. So osteo obviously means bone, or in reference to bone, and derm, skin. So it's bony ridges that are underneath the skin that give them this additional bit of armor. JJ, you'd like to know if they can hunt on land? They can. Remember, they're apex predators, they're opportunists. So this crocodile is just chilling here. I mean, it's having a great time. At least I think so. But I don't speak crocodile. But if something came through and was completely unaware of this crocodile and came within reach of this crocodile, and it is on land, it would jump out and try to grab it, because these are ambush predators. They lie in wait. And if you're lying, or happen to be lying in sun bathing or basking in the sun, and your intent is not to ambush anything, if something comes past, they're going to go ahead and do it, because they're opportunists. Oh, Bob from Kalamazoo, you'd like to know how long do I think they are? Gosh. That's a difficult question, Bob. I have no frame of reference except a blade of grass. Maybe when we zoom out, I'll have a better look. Oh, Rolling Trouble, you knew exactly what I was talking about. Rolling Trouble says, oh, love that clip of the Ellies and the croc. If you haven't seen the clip of the Ellies and the croc here at Tau, please go ahead and have a look, because it is very amusing. Carol, you say it's amazing how much I've learned from these different animals and fowl by watching all your videos. Thanks so much. Thank you very much, because that is the purpose of being able to do this, is for people to become interested in and be curious about the world around us and the animals that we have, and then learn about them, and then grow empathy towards them. I always think that's the foundation of good conservation. In fact, what you're doing right now, watching and learning, is the best thing most people can do to help conservation. Okay, so now we've zoomed out a little bit. Still have 0 frame of reference, but I can tell that it's quite long. So maybe we should work backwards. An adult crocodile, or adult Nile crocodile, can be anything from about 2.5 meters to about 4 meters. Well, that's the general length. There are some that are larger than that, but those are exceptions rather. So Bob, I'm gonna say about 3. Let's say about 3 meters. I should just go lie down next to it, and then we can tell. The easiest way would be if there's elephants around or something like that. I mean, obviously the easiest way is if we left a ruler down there so we had a frame of reference properly. I'd say about 3 meters. I mean, they're pretty substantial, but they're not, I wouldn't put them in the 4 or 5 meter category, because they don't look fat enough, and they grow proportionately. Yeah, so I'd say about 3, Bob. Christina E., you say they look so peaceful when they're on land sleeping. They do. Also, I have to say that I don't often see crocodiles chilling in the grass, so that definitely adds to um, the kind of picnic, serene, peaceful look of the whole thing. Beautiful. It also looks like they have their heads slightly tilted and their eyes tilted and the eyes are closed, so it looks very peaceful indeed. The cooler weather has probably brought them, or rather the overcast weather has brought them out. You often see that with crocs, sometimes hippos too. If it's overcast like this, they'll come out of the water. Oh, now Bob from Kalamazoo, now this one looks smaller than 3 meters. All about frame of reference, right? Oh, look at this, we have a Dassie. I'm assuming this is on the Black Eagle cam. If so, this Dassie is probably very, very nervous, but Kirst will tell me if it is the Black Eagle cam. It looks like it. Poor Dassie, you've gotten yourself into quite a spot here. If we can see you, I'm sure our Rose Eagle pair might be able to see you too. Oh, it gave a little yawn. Dassies are very cute, also called rock hyraxes, and they have these very interesting looking hands and feet that have fingers, they're finger-like, and they are leathery to help it move around on the rocks. You might have heard also that these are the closest living relatives to elephants, and yes, it is true. It's elephants and sirenians. So sirenians are dugongs and manatees, and at one point, both the sirenians, elephants, and dassies shared a common ancestor. And there are certain features in a dassie that are features that we see in elephants. So dassies actually have two tusk-like protrusions, we can say, in their mouths. And remember, all a tusk is are modified incisor teeth. So dassies have modified incisor teeth that also resemble little tusks, but they're not curved like an elephant. They just kind of peek out of the mouth. It kind of looks like they're a bit of a vampire. And apart from that, the way that they walk, so this kind of semi-digitigrade walk, which means that part of the heel is on the ground, is something that they share with elephants as well. Beautiful. In fact, in the lineage of elephants, the one of the earliest ancestors was a Dassie-sized animal. So when you think of it like that, it's actually not that far-fetched, because remember, between the common ancestor with the Dassie and the elephant that we have now, there's been a whole lot of evolutionary change and movement that we don't know about. So it certainly didn't jump from Dassie to elephant, at least not. It took them several million years. Beautiful. Well, I think this Dassie is looking a little bit nervous, and I hope that it gets down from the rocks safely. But as we saw today, it's a give and take. So Dassie gets down safely. Maybe Rose Eagle doesn't get a meal. Either way, nature has a way of balancing things out. And it's that time. Gosh, this time goes by so quickly, especially if we have interesting things in our cams. Thank you so much for joining us, for sending through your questions and your comments and having these awesome discussions, and for being with me in that amazing heron and frog sighting. So thank you, everybody. It's time to say goodbye. Have a good one.